Before the times of Messi versus Ronaldo, there was one great footballing debate that was on the lips of every fan, and that was Pele or Maradona. Two South American superstars in their own right, both national heroes and icons of the beautiful game. If you're around my age, you'll probably remember hearing from older relatives of how good Pele was, or Maradona's silky skills, his goal versus England in the '86 World Cup, or how Pele miraculously was only 17, becoming the youngest player to participate and score, also win in a World Cup final. It's a footballing debate that has been going on for years, decades. It's got so many sides and storylines to it, so many arguments. And today, I'm not claiming that we're going to find a definitive answer, but we might be coming close towards a solution. I've reset both Pele and Maradona's career, and we're going to find out how their careers play out in today's modern era, while simultaneously having them on the same team throughout their whole entire career. That's right, we're running it back. Last year's video with Ronaldo and Messi on the same team simulated their whole careers. That was a banger. So we're reapplying that same concept to the two previous GOATs, both Pele and Maradona. They've had their beefs, they've had their rivalry over the years, but eventually they ended up settling down, looking past their troubled past and focusing on the future. And of course, who could forget the hand of God? One of the most controversial moments in football that even 35 years later, Peter Shilton is still salty about. We've imported their baby icon form, so they are both 18 teenagers. The common rule of thumb and the main theme we're going to be following throughout this video is that if Pele gets an offer from, let's just say, Crystal Palace, not only will they be receiving Pele, but also Maradona will join him, and vice versa. They're going to be following each other throughout their whole entire careers. And we're starting the two legends off here at Blackpool, recently promoted to the championship in real life. The Tangerines will be witnessing these two South American heroes in their early stages of their careers, and seeing them combine on the pitch. They both have potential to be special, and they're going to start off equal at a 70 overall. You can check in with Maradona. He's 5'5", left-footed, 5-star skill moves. We've had to adjust his stats here and there, but this is how they're looking with all those traits: finesse shot, flair, playmaker, chip shot, and technical dribbler. Let's see if not only him but Pele can replicate the success of their careers here in the modern day. It'd be pretty fascinating to see who would come on top if they can win a Ballon d'Or. It didn't really exist back in their time. They both won the Player of the Century together, but hey, we're in different times now. It's the 21st century. We'll see if they can rival Ronaldo and Messi with the number of Ballon d'Ors they're able to capture. Not only that, but team success as well. They're going to be on the same team for at least 10 years. I'm aiming to go big with this one. It's about to be a long-term simulation, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, as this is how they're lining up in the starting 11 with a classic 4-4-2. Pele will be starting in up front with his strike partner Yates, and Maradona will be playing that slightly advanced midfielder role. Many Napoli and Argentinian football fans refer to him as the God. He'll be partnering up with Kenny Dougal, the Aussie, in midfield. And due to the fact that I had to activate icons for this career sim to work, we're going to be witnessing so many other icons throughout the save. They'll be coming up against some of the best players past, present, and future. All of the icons are chilling in the free agency, so they literally could end up anywhere. Now with that all out the way, let's get simulating. If you do go on to enjoy, drop the video a like down below, hit subscribe if you're new around here, and comment down below what duo deserve to be on the same team and deserve to have their careers simulated next. The OG GOATs' first season in the same team together have led Blackpool to a 12th place finish. Unfortunately, they couldn't replicate that real life promotion. However, they were only around 5 points away from slipping into the playoffs, so fair play. In terms of their performances this season, we have got Pele leading the line with the goals scored, 11 goals in 50 appearances. The Brazilian also managed to rack up 3 assists, so that's 14 goal contributions altogether. Meanwhile, Diego got the best of Pele in terms of assists with 6, but only scored 8 goals. Both growing a +3 and simultaneously standing at a 73. On the financial side, they still share a common figure, both valued at £7 million on the dot. I didn't want to listen to any transfer offers in the first season. I just wanted to establish their first season here at Blackpool. Just let them focus on their football. However, one of the main criticisms and flaws of that Ronaldo and Messi on the same team video is that I made Messi younger than Ronaldo, so Ronaldo had a bit of a head start in terms of when we started, but Messi just had better growing potential and dynamic potential was a bit more in play. However, today Pele and Maradona are both equal, same age, same overall. This is going to be an interesting battle, and we will be listening to transfer offers here in season 2. Only 14 days into the summer transfer window, and we've already received an offer for Pele. We've had 2 clubs interested: Fenerbahce from Turkey with a little bit of a swap deal, which I wasn't really vibing with, and then we've got the Belgian outfit Gent offering up £13 million. It'd be quite interesting to see their careers shift to the Belgian Pro League. Started it here off in the lower tiers of England, and I think now they're ready to take that leap. We'll see if the deal goes through, but it looks like the South Americans are going to be packing their bags for Belgium. There we have it. It is all but confirmed, the duo's first move, and it's Gent to pick up on their services. The Belgians are ahead of the curve, signing up a 19-year-old Pele for £13 million. That is just a damn bargain. They've got a knack for finding these special talents, but not only that, they're going to be receiving Maradona in the process. Thanks to Sir BCHD's arrival at the helm, they're following each other every step of the way. They're going to be having the same exact careers, moving from club to club. For £16.5 million, Diego Armando Maradona will be making his debut alongside Pele in Belgium. Unlike at Blackpool, they are not the best players, highest rated players here at the club. They're going to have to fight their way to the top. And something else that changed up, the CPU assigned Pele an important role, meanwhile Maradona gets the crucial. Also, we will be assigning development plans from a centre forward to a striker. That is what I'm going to chain Pele into. In his repertoire, it says he can play at striker, but I just want that to be his main position. And for Diego, we're going to be applying the advanced playmaker growth development plan. Here is how they line up together. Gent playing a very different system to what Blackpool did, a 3-5-2 formation. Maradona deployed in the hole, whilst Pele is going to be up front with his strike partner Niangbo. Just like that, it didn't take too long as the Brazilian sharpshooter is now successfully converted to an out-and-out striker, and his overall has already benefited. He's gone up to a 75. Now the Pro League over here in Belgium, it really operates at a different level. Like, it just splits off into all these different leagues once a certain stage of the season has been reached. Avoiding all the complications, we have seen that Gent have nowhere been near the title. They were only a win away from the top 4, but Anderlecht on top, showcasing their dominance. In the championship round, they ended up finishing in 3rd, and in the playoff round, they came 2nd to Club Brugge. No silverware that I am aware of. In the Croquis Cup, it was Genk who won against Bruges, so easy to mix that one up. But Pele and Maradona got knocked out in the quarterfinals, the eventual finalist Club Brugge. There was no European football to report on here either, but just after one season of being here at Gent, they are back to the top of the squad hub. Technically, they're the best at the club again, but one major development we have seen right here is that they're both now at a 78, plus 4s added to their overalls this season, still at 20 years of age. However, Maradona has gone down to an exciting prospect. Meanwhile, Pele has maintained that it has potential to be special. This is major news that could really amplify Pele's career above Maradona and have serious implications for the rest of this career sim. However, the best player at the club was Clydenheist. He grabbed the top goal scorer award with 16 goals, as Pele right behind him with 14 goals and 6 assists. 20 goal contributions for the newly converted Brazilian striker, and Maradona with 4 less games, 16 goal contributions for the Argentine, and that's how they weighed up here in their second campaign. The advanced playmaker development plan was still intact, and over with Pele, we ended up switching him towards a complete striker development plan just to get that 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. And financially, this is going to be a battle to go down in the ages. We can't separate them. £30.5 million is what they are both valued at. The only thing right now differentiating the two are their positions, nationality, and potential status. Have they had a good enough season to warrant a move away and to attract some European big boys? I guess we'll find out if any transfer offers come in and if their careers progress any further in Season 3. No matter what clubs decides to poach them this year, we've got their development plans set. We've got Maradona on the Dynamo with the main aim of just upping their sprint speed and acceleration. They're both known to be such pacey players. Let's try get that to reflect in the virtual world. We've got Pele on that mobile striker, focusing heavily, honing in their focus on improving sprint speed and acceleration. Hold the phone. Stop what you're doing. This is breaking news. I didn't even realize, silly of me, to not even check the contract, but Pele had a release clause instated, and Roma FC have only agreed to go and pay £28.7 million for the Brazilian services. What is going on? It looks like Pele is going to be making his debut in Italy, and Maradona will be returning to Serie A. And you can see here, Pele, he just wasn't happy at the club. He didn't see a future, and I guess it's the perfect time to part ways. It's happened naturally. That has been the cause, and so far it has been the Brazilian talisman to attract all the offers in. To think he was also being looked at by Fulham, I'm glad he ended up choosing Roma, and they paid out the release clause. There we have it. They've won the race, and of course I haven't got the PC mods on, so we've got the unlicensed Roma FC to look at. The news just gets better for the Italian capital as Pele is bringing over his teammate. Look away, Napoli fans. Diego Maradona has found a new home back in Italy, and it's not Napoli. We're keeping the same energy. We're following the premise that they're both going to stay on the same teams, signing to each team they get moved to, and Maradona has had to follow in Pele's footsteps twice so far, in a cheeky swap deal valued at over £43.5 million. It seems like every team they have gone to have played a completely different style, a completely different system of football, and here at the Stadio Olimpico, it is no exception. Clearly, Pele slots perfectly into the striker role, but Maradona's fighting it quite hard. He can play centre forward, but we might have to train him into that position. The Argentine just can't really fit into any role in the team. They are very far down from the top in the pecking order, both applied with that important squad role. Just to fit Roma's needs, we're going to train Maradona up into a centre forward, which he can pretty much technically already play. Let's see how Serie A treats the new South Americans that have bursted onto the scene. After purchasing some of the two best footballers to ever grace a previous generation, Roma have finished third in Serie Serie with 81 points. It was a tightly contested affair, but they snuck into the top 4, garnering Champions League football for next season. Over in the Coppa Italia, they failed to win their first piece of silverware. As we continued down the list in the quarterfinals, they got knocked out to their bitter rivals Lazio 2-1. Not only did the South American duo make their debut in the Italian top flight, but they also played in Europe for the first time here in the Europa League, and we have got an all-Italian final to look forward to, Milan versus Roma. Now, if the club missed out on the top 4, it'd be a pretty important match, but to win Maradona and Pele their first pieces of silverware together and to get them on the board to add something to their collection, this was their run to the final, knocking out teams like Ajax on away goals and Hertha Berlin in the semis, and they've got a one-way ticket to the big dance. Maradona unfortunately couldn't meet the deadline, not converted to a centre forward for the final, but we're going to go in all guns blazing nonetheless. This is how Milan are lining up. Here's how the two teams compare. Pele, Maradona, your big game players, do it on the big stage for Roma, and no, they miss out, agonizingly close on penalties. They lose 5-4. After the game was 2-2, did either of them score in the final? No. Oh, Pele got a goal in the 70th minute to send it to extra time. Pele and Maradona both missed their penalties, bottle jobs, the lot of them. That is just so soul-crushing for both of them, letting their team down big time from the spot kicks. I guess, hey, we all gotta go through it. Mbappe just let his country down, losing in penalty shootouts and missing his chance. So I guess this is a character-defining, a character development moment. We'll start off analysing Maradona's season. He's still got an exciting prospect tag. It's still decent, but not as great as has potential to be special. Now 21-year-old Argentine, a couple weeks away from being converted into a centre forward, +2 to his overall this season, and that has got him into the 80s realm. With 14 appearances, a real lack of game time letting him down, 2 goals and 2 assists in that period. This is where I think Pele is going to start winning the race. Campaigns like this isn't going to help Maradona in the slightest, and he's now valued at £52 million. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Pele has gotten ahead of him with a 2-point margin, now standing at an 83, and has grown a +4 this season. The Brazilian, an important team member for Roma as he started 36 games, got himself 9 goals and 3 assists, but strikers like Inaki Williams and especially Moussa Dembele are outperforming him right now. 10 goal contributions for the Brazilian as we applied the immobile striker development plan. He's got 5-star skill moves now, 5-star weak foot, and that has propelled him to a £74 million valuation, now increased by 92%. This could be an early change of the guard as Pele just slightly edges ahead of Maradona in terms of overall. He's outdone him in terms of performances, but can the Argentine fight back? We'll find out what Diego Armando Maradona has in store for us as they enter their 4th season and their 2nd stint out here in the capital of Italy. The day the Maradona stands have been waiting for. It is happening, people. He's finally been converted to a centre forward. Is that going to change Maradona's hopes around and get a one-up on Pele? We all know Maradona was a fan of penetrating things back in his heyday, so we'll give him the penetrator development plan. For the first time in this career sim, we have not received any bids for both Pele and Maradona. No clubs are ready to take the risk on them, but I guess they can focus this season on applying their best services to Roma, given they're all for the club and honing in on their craft. And it looks like Pele has been caught up on international duty already. We are in a World Cup year. At the end of this season, could Pele or Maradona potentially get that call up to the national team? It sickens me to my stomach, man. Eric Cantona has moved to Liverpool for £152.5 million. I just thought I'd throw that out there because a whole bunch of other icons are making moves in the background, and it's slowly killing me. Season 1's pain didn't simmer any harder. We have got a bunch of bad news to report on here as Roma have finished in 7th, missing out on European football and therefore not qualifying next season. Both Pele and Maradona, what have they been doing? They've been caught slipping this season as they could have potentially had a Coppa Italia final, but they lost out on away goals to Juventus in the unlicensed derby 3-3, and Maradona's former employers Napoli ended up lifting the trophy. It was a faithful run to the Champions League quarterfinals for the Romans as it was a 5-0 demolition job by Atletico Madrid on aggregate. We're 4 years in and the duo is still yet to win any pieces of silverware. We'll start off with Pele having a cracking season with a +4 to his overall, now standing at an 87 at 22 years of age. If he is to stay at Roma, he definitely needs that squad role to be improved from important to crucial, as his stats this season read a little bit like this. In context, he's the top goal scorer at the club with 17 goals and 12 assists, the first out of the duo to get double figures in both departments. That is 29 goal contributions in 54 appearances. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Diego did get less appearances, only 46, but still scored 10 goals and got himself 2 assists. With a +3, it now boosted up to an 84 overall, still 3 behind Pele. The gap has been established and we've got to respect it. Not sure if the penetrator development plan is doing him any justice. We might have to switch things up come season 5, as they're halfway through a decade without getting any success or a taste of it through silverware. And finally, now their values are differentiated, with Pele breaking through that £100 million mole. He has reached £111.5 million worth of transfer market value. Meanwhile, Maradona is about £60 million behind him, valued on the transfer market at £51 million. Surely clubs are looking at this and knowing what they're missing out on. Let's see if any transfer offers arrive at our doorstep in Season 5, as I think it might be time for the South American pairing to move on and bring their greatness elsewhere. You know when I said a couple of minutes back that it was a World Cup year here in 2024? It's another classic Sir BCHD mistake on my part, probably not the first, not the last mistake I'll make in a video, as Maradona's Argentina, who he wasn't called up to, were knocked out in the semi-finals, ended up finishing in third, and Brazil failed even harder, losing out to Colombia 2-1, the eventual finalists, and that ended Pele's hopes and dreams of winning yet another piece of silverware with his nation. In the off-season though, the summer, the news hasn't stopped there, as we do get a bunch of transfer offers in for our two South American stars. We've got Diego Maradona, actually this time attracting some offers. He's received bids from RB Leipzig and Manchester City. However, Pele also has a pretty interesting deal in the works, and that is Ajax. Should we travel to the Eredivisie, or should we make our way over to the Bundesliga? I think this move might be a bit of a better proposition, and of course they'll be battling it out in a European top 5 league. So Maradona to RB Leipzig. The Brazilian will now be forced to join the energy drink merchants, clubs that didn't even exist back in their playing days. For the first time in this video, Diego Maradona leads the way and is poached by a club, and the German outfit have claimed their Argentinian centre forward. Little do they know that Pele will be joining along for the ride. Even though Maradona spearheaded this move, I think this is probably more of an exciting announcement for the RB Leipzig fans to get around. The exciting Brazilian Pele will be also up front in their attack, and is this possibly now a time to win their first piece of silverware here at RB Leipzig? Are they going to combine and win a trophy together, put their powers into good use? And here is their supporting cast. We've actually got two icons that RB Leipzig picked up randomly throughout this simulation, both Henrik Larsson and Patrick Vieira captaining the side from midfield. I mean, a couple of improvements here and there maybe in the back line, and this is a scary good team. They make their debut in the Bundesliga with a hot favourite, a contender for the title. Development plan for Pele this time, and I'm thinking of just sticking a mobile striker. Let's get that pace into the 90s. Maradona, enough with the penetrating. We'll try go pressing forward. If that's not working, we'll switch it up to trequartista. RB Leipzig have finally delivered Pele and Maradona the platform to go ahead and win a title. They've gone all the way in the DFB Pokal for the big dance against Hertha Berlin. And not only that, if they bottle that one, they've got redemption in the Europa League, unfinished business versus Liverpool. I know it's not the Champions League, but at least it's something, and they could go ahead and secure the double, as they weren't able to win the Bundesliga, finishing in third. Bayer Leverkusen won the title, Bayern finishing in second, and they're up against 5th place Hertha Berlin in the DFB Cup final. I find it hilarious that players like Henrik Larsson and Hwang Hee-chan were able to outscore Pele and Maradona. I will announce that Pele did have a major long-term 3-month injury, so that ruled him out for the majority of the season. The poor bloke did his ACL and was only able to garner 30 appearances, 12 goals and 2 assists, didn't grow whatsoever this season, which is quite scary. Meanwhile, on the other hand, I didn't think Maradona got any significant injuries whatsoever. Without being out for 3 months, he got 37 appearances, 11 goals and 4 assists, 15 goal contributions in comparison to Pele's 14. I'm still not really convinced that he should be a centre forward. I might convert him back to cam if they move to a different team that doesn't use that exact same Roma formation system. The 3-4-2-1 has forced me to do some unbearable things, and one of them has been to convert Maradona into a pressing centre forward. Financially, he's valued at £71.5 million. Meanwhile, Pele had a 2% reduction. He's gone from 111 mil down to 109.5 million pounds. Pele is back from his injury and ready to play these last two finals, failing to really make an impact on the club and international scene when it comes to trophies. This is their moment in the capital, in Berlin, at the Olympiastadion. Can they go ahead and lift up that trophy? Yes, they do. It's a Maradona 81st minute winner, and the Argentine, he's a big game player. He has showed up to beat Berlin. After 5 years of grind, the German Cup, their first team accolade, has made its way to the trophy cabinet. Could this be the year that Maradona outperforms Pele? We'll find out, as there's one more game left. It'd be nice if they could lift this one up, considering they lost one together on penalties against Roma all those years ago. This time, it's up against the Liverpool squad with David Beckham, Scholes, and Cantona. Also Cannavaro at the back. Literally all my favourite players on Liverpool. That is not something I like to see, but we'll simulate this one. I don't really expect to get a result, and they do. No, you can't be serious. It was 3-3 in extra time. Oh my days. What am I witnessing here? Pele with a first-minute goal to break the deadlock. It finished 2-2 in regular time. Then in extra time, Nkunku got an 108th minute equaliser after Puskás got the third goal. And did the boys convert their penalty? No, Pele missed his penalty for the second time in a Europa League final, and Maradona converted his. Scintillating scenes right here. That'll go down as one of the best finals I've ever simulated, as Pele and Maradona go down in Europa League history, winning the tournament at the second time of asking. Pele having a second half to the season not to write home about. With 15 goal contributions, Pele has topped him this season with 16. The South American partnership, the duo, have finally gotten the monkey off their back. They've won some silverware. They could have potentially found the perfect home for them to thrive here at RB Leipzig. Half a decade into the simulation, we shift our focus on the international stage as we've got a World Cup year ahead of us. To get season 6 started off on the right foot, not only have we made a couple of signings, but most importantly, we've brought back Maradona to his most famous glorified position in the number 10. He's a proper cam now, and after that position conversion, he's already received a +1 upgrade. Now at an 87 overall, we're already starting to see the green flags run riot. And we're going to deploy the advanced playmaker development plan. Not only that, but with Pele, we've gone for the complete striker to see out season 6. And yeah, the signings aren't really meant to interfere with the simulation. It's just to improve the supporting cast around the two and just assist them in their quest to try find success. It took me some time, but finally after all these years, I actually gave them proper boots. I know Maradona wore his famous Pumas back in the day, but the Puma selection in this game is just absolutely terrible. And I feel like if he played in today's era, he'd be repping the Adidas just like Messi. And same goes for Pele. As a Brazilian, surely he's repping Nike. He would have probably copped an exclusive Nike deal the second he came out of Santos's youth academy. Just like Neymar, those Mercurials are looking spicy. My original plan for season 6 is just to keep the lads here at RB Leipzig, to keep up that good momentum and to get them in a prime, ready position to be called up to the national team. But with a move like to Manchester City for Maradona, let's say, I think at this stage of career mode, the citizens just have too many good players. Like, their team is going to be cracked. There's no chance they're going to get ample game time with a player like Maradona, who is yet to be called up to the Argentine squad. I just don't think this move is good for their careers right now, especially in a World Cup year. So I'm just going to have to reject this one for now. But £97.9 million. Pep Guardiola is after yet another Argentinian magician. Unfortunately, he's not going to get him this time. You know what would be a good omen? To win a German Cup right before they head off to the World Cup. If they get selected for the national team, they are versus Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal final, and this one is very important. I'll show you why, because they actually came second in the Bundesliga, unable to win the title as Bayern finish on top, the gap being 5 points, so they did come close. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough at the end of the day, but they can get a little bit of revenge and a one-up on them in Berlin. They've been in many big dances before, but never on the same pitch. Now we've made it a reality. Can they do it again in their highly prestigious, coveted careers at RB Leipzig? And no, it was a 3-0 demolition job with R9 Ronaldo, Jones, and Sane. Also, Ryan Giggs came on the pitch as well. I told you this simulation with other icons is going to be a nightmare. It's not the end of the world. Pele and Maradona have already won that, as in the German Super Cup, they lost out to Bayer Leverkusen on penalties 4-3 after the game finished 3-3, and they have lost every single cup final or a chance of silverware this season, as in the UEFA Super Cup, they lose out 2-1 to Juventus. The Champions League display doesn't get any better, as they were eliminated in the round of 16 to Real Madrid 3-0 on aggregate. Definitely not a season to write home about in terms of team accolades, but let's see on a personal level, how did their career shape out individually? In terms of stats for Pele this season, he's gone up a +2 to a 90, now considered one of the world's best at 24 years of age. With 46 appearances, he managed to find the back of the net 22 times, got himself 7 assists, and that is 29 goal contributions in total. Development wise, he was in good form. I switched up his development plan to a poacher. I wanted the agility and reactions to enter the dark greens. Also, penalties needed a bit of work. In terms of his financial situation, the number 9 is now valued at £141.5 million on the transfer market. As we subvert our focus to Diego Maradona, he has now reached 24 as well. He's gone up a +2. However, he is still in the high 80s, now standing at an 88 overall. In terms of his stats this season, he scored more goals than he had assists. 21 goal contributions in 44 appearances. We changed him to the captain. We gave him the number 10, and he scored 13 goals with 8 assists. We kept him on advanced playmaker, but it might be time to shake things up come season 7. He's getting ever so close, knocking on the door of the £100 million range, now valued at 95 million. Brazil have announced their World Cup squad for 2026, and in the forwards line, Pele has just made the cut. I say just because so many icons are going to make this simulation just that much more difficult. R9 Ronaldo and Garrincha have returned, so whether Pele gets any time on the international stage, that is something we're going to have to see. And right next to them on the same day, Argentina announced it, and I had to take a second glance. I thought Maradona was excluded, but no, he is on the plane. Diego gets his chance to lift up the world title again, just like in '86, and this time he's able to do it with a lot of the future stars of South America, present world-class stars as well in the roster for the RB Celeste. And this is how the groups are going to be laid out for the World Cup this year. I don't see Brazil or Argentina yet. Here, Brazil, we've got Group D. They matched up against Belgium, Slovenia, and China. Two heavyweights in there. that should progress through. And Argentina, Maradona's men, are placed in a slightly more trickier group. We've got Switzerland, Denmark, and Cameroon. This slightly worries me that there is no Maradona in the Argentine starting 11 with a 5-star team, 86 attack, 87 midfield, and 85 defense. They should at least be looking at reaching the last 4. And for Brazil, it's the same old story. No Pele in the starting 11. R9 Ronaldo will be leading the line up top. In a shock turn of events, both Pele and Maradona could be innocent bystanders as their countries could potentially go ahead and achieve world dominance. We'll return back to club level soon. We're probably going to have to see a move away from RB Leipzig. I don't know if staying here for a 3rd season is their best option, but now let's see how this 2026 World Cup plays out. There we have it. The Seleção reign victorious over the world, and in 2026, with Vinicius Jr., their talisman, win the World Cup. But how did it all go down, you might ask? Let's have a look and see. Group D, Brazil actually finished in 2nd. They didn't even top the group. Belgium pulled through and they qualified with 6 points. Meanwhile, Argentina didn't even make it out. I said there was no excuses, as Denmark and Switzerland, 2 nations just outperforming in the Euros. They've translated that here in 2026, and they finished 3rd with 1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss. Just not good enough when it comes to the World Cup. That might work in the Euros, but here on out, Brazil eliminated England. It wasn't coming home. The 3 Lions packed their bags in the quarterfinals. Another nail-biting affair with a 5-goal thriller against Germany, outscoring them and making it 3-2. And in the semis, they came up against Romania, the dark horses of the tournament, who ended up finishing 3rd against Belgium. And then in the final, they defeated Spain 1-0. To claim their 6th world title, let's take a look and see what Pele did. For some reason, he's coming up as M. Fernandez. Nonetheless, when you click on him for the player bio, it is in fact Pele. He actually played 7 games. He played every single match, scored only 1 goal, and got himself 2 assists. Meanwhile, R9 Ronaldo is coming up as Mepem. I don't know how these names are coming into fruition, but here he is, 90 rated, and he scored 2 goals in 3 appearances. Against all my suspicions, Pele was actually the starting striker for the team and got himself 3 goal contributions on the world stage. Meanwhile, for Argentina, boy Maradona, you've got a lot of explaining to do. He's coming up as Young Nam on the menus, but when you click on him, it's actually Diego himself. Maradona with 2 appearances and only 1 goal. A failed World Cup run for the Argentines. However, Brazil reigned victorious and achieved their dreams. Pele gets another 1-up on Maradona. What a way, what drama to start off season 7. And the transfer offers have come in thick and fast for both Maradona and Pele. We've gotten 2 options right here. We can either go to Manchester City, or we could join the Foxes and see these 2 icons play at the King Power Stadium. You know what, Leicester? You've earned it. I think Man City without Pele and Maradona can still go ahead and win the Champions League. So let's be in favour of the underdog here, and let's move these 2 goats to the Midlands. There he goes. He's packed his bag, and it's another major transfer move in their careers, as the Argentine baller Diego presented in front of the Leicester City faithful for £137 million. For 9 figures, they have captured one of the best players in the world and about to enter his prime. So let's see not only what a prime Maradona, but a prime Pele could achieve in England, in what could go down as the best transfer window to ever exist. This is Premier League history right here. We're witnessing something special. Do these 2 arrival propel Leicester into Premier League title contention just like in 2016? Pele joins his fellow compatriot and World Cup winner Rodrigo, who's currently on top of the pack right now, and Maradona has to fight for the top spot as he's sitting 4th in the pecking order. Of course, we're going to change his kit number. It's a no-brainer. He deserves the number 10. Meanwhile, Pele, we can't have 2 players with the same number, so he's going to have to opt for the 9. He's followed him along, but look at this Leicester team already. They've got Raul, Pele, Calvert-Lewin, Iheanacho as options up top. We'll deploy Pele there, but I might have to change up the formation just to suit the lads a bit better. The Leicester CPU have dipped into the icon free agency market with icons like Campbell signing on. They've also got Raul to join Pele up top. I've had to change things up. I didn't want to convert Maradona to a left winger just to accommodate for the 5 at the back formation. We'll go with something more pragmatic, more attacking, and the tactics will be a fast build up, press after possession loss. They might be one more centre back away from actually contending for the title and could be a squad built for long-term success. Are the Foxes about to endure a honeymoon period? Let's find out, as we're going to apply a target man just to switch things up in terms of development plans for Pele. The balance and reactions department definitely need a facelift and improvement. Meanwhile, Diego Armando Maradona will become a shadow striker just because attributes like agility, sprint speed, and volleys are desperate for a much-needed upgrade. What a year it's been for the legendary Brazilian talisman, not only winning the World Cup for his nation, but winning the Premier League for his club, and he stands at the press conference room with the glorious trophy. Leicester won the league on the final day, finishing on top versus Manchester United, 82 points. At the summit, they reigned victorious. With teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool struggling, it was the perfect time for the Foxes to pounce. In the FA Cup, they didn't make the final and they were eliminated in round 3 to Wolves 1-0. Over in the Carabao Cup, they weren't able to reach any pieces of cup domestic silverware, as it was another 1-0 elimination in round 3, this time to Burnley. Still no Champions League football for them to partake in, as they got knocked out in the round of 16 to Hertha Berlin in the Europa League 3-2. It's a trophy they've already won, so it's no major deal. It's the Champions League we have to focus on next season, as Maradona and Pele's former employers RB Leipzig went on to win the whole thing. They're now crowned European champions with a 3-1 win over Inter in the final. Are we now regretting leaving the energy drink merchants? The German outfit have completely dominated after their departure. It might be a tough pill to swallow, but they're building bigger and better things here in the Midlands, as Pele has gone up a +2 this season, deservedly so, as he is still one of the world's best, a World Cup winner at 25 years of age, and his stats read a little bit like this: 50 appearances, 25 goals and 8 assists, so that is a goal in every other game, and he's racked up a total of 33 goal contributions this time out. I don't know if this is the right move, but we've still got him deployed as the target man development plan, now valued at £149.5 million. Meanwhile, El Capitano, the genius with the throw, Diego Maradona, 25 years of age, are classified now as one of the world's best, as he's reached the 90s. He had a +2 boost this season with a spellbinding campaign, the main playmaker of this Leicester squad, with 6 goals and 20 assists. 26 goal contributions in total in 50 appearances. They played the exact same number of games, and he is head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to the assist department. Without him, Leicester's creativity is way less potent, as he's been training up as the Dynamo development plan this season, financially now valued at nearly £120 million. It's time for a European push in Season 8. That is the Foxes' starting 11. Especially with Pele and Maradona, it looks like it can do damage on multiple fronts next season. It's the first time we've really checked up on one of these. It is the 2027 nominees for the Ballon d'Or, and guess who has reached the top 4? It's 2 Leicester players, but only Pele has made the cut. Maradona couldn't beat out Rodrigo. Let's see if Pele can grab his first major accolade, and indeed he has, beating out Maradona fair and square, and the Brazilian has won his first Ballon d'Or in his career at 26 years of age, a 93 rated striker, especially after a campaign like that, winning his country the World Cup, Premier League champions with Leicester. It couldn't be any other player, now valued at £166 million. It's 1-0 to Pele. I know they're working together in the same team, but you've got to acknowledge that friendly rivalry between the two South Americans, the Brazil versus Argentinian rivalry, and also the two GOATs are doing battle today, and now has established that 3 overall point margin. Just when you thought life couldn't get any better for the South American duo, they've gone back-to-back in the Premier League, completely taking England by storm and winning the title yet again with 84 points, outdoing themselves from last season. Liverpool finished runners-up with 80, and that is how the season panned out. Arsenal down in 10th, as we scoot on over to the Community Shield, where Liverpool defeated the lads 3-0 at Wembley. Turning over to the FA Cup, it was a Manchester derby in that one, and Leicester getting knocked out in round 6, 3-2 to Everton. So it seems like they conquered the league before they could get their hands on any piece of domestic silverware, and it's the Carabao Cup with a 1-0 win over Manchester City in the final, the team that wanted both Pele and Maradona so desperately, and now they get a good serving of what they're missing out on. The Foxes reign victorious and get the double, and there is a chance for them to secure the treble with a Champions League final entry. They've got the big ticket item ahead of them, and it's a big dance against Atletico Madrid to see who will be crowned European champions. But how did they get there? Group A saw Leicester out on top, 11 points, drawing with Napoli. In the round of 16, they just made it past PSG 2-1 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals, it was a comeback display to win 4-2 against Barcelona on aggregate. And again, another Spanish contestant. It was Real Madrid this time, losing 4-3 on aggregate, and that means they progressed all the way to the final. They've won titles in Germany, played in World Cup finals, lost a few finals, and slipped up at the final hurdle, but none of them come close to the Champions League final. Up against Atleti, here are the starting 11s to face each other tonight. It's another Spanish giant. They've already knocked out Real Madrid and Barcelona. Let's hope for a South American Pele Maradona masterclass tonight, and after all those years of losing 2 Europa League finals on penalties, the lads have gone out and done it, winning the Champions League final on a penalty shootout. It was Maradona to get proceedings underway, scoring a 39th minute goal at Yemi with a quick reply in the 41st. It stayed like that until extra time and penalties. Pele converted his penalty and Maradona missed his, but thankfully Nedved choked, and that means Leicester are your European champions. It's the Brazilian poster boy. There he is next to the Champions League title, a trophy and accolade that he wasn't able to capture through his playing days. And there we go, it's the Leicester City treble confirmed. After Season 8's performances, the overall gap has been decreased from 3 to 2. Maradona's got himself up to a 91, and Pele continuing at a 93. They are yet to have a season without any growth, so that is a good sign. Let's sort it out by goals, and the Brazilian was the top goal scorer, surely winning the Golden Boot with with 37 goals, 10 assists, 47 goal contributions in 67 appearances. That could be a Ballon d'Or worthy campaign. Can he go back to back and take home the golden ball again? We're going to have to find out as we apply the poacher development plan. We're going to go through his financial sector, and £166 million is his current value. Meanwhile, with Diego, he's currently sitting 4th in terms of best performers this season. He didn't topple the charts with 20 assists, but he got himself 15, 21 goals as well, including that Champions League final one, 36 goal contributions in 66 appearances. As a creative midfielder, it's important to get double figures in both goals and assists. That's exactly what he's done, but Pele's done the exact same. As we shifted that development plan from dynamo to attacking midfield, the captain's value now peaking at £129 million. The GOATs are tearing it up. They're out reinforcing their GOAT status. Imagine watching these two on the same team week in, week out. That would be an honour of the highest order, but I think that they've achieved all they could here at Leicester City. Now that they've reached these current standards, who is going to be able to afford them come season 9? Is it time to move on, or are they going to remain faithful? They're yet to win a trophy in Italy or even play in Spain yet, so that could potentially be on the cards. Or will Man City sneak in again with a major offer? So many things to keep track on as we progress into the next campaign. What these two icons have been able to achieve at club level has just had me completely distracted from the international scene as the Copa America is going down in 2028. Here have been the group stages so far. Argentina on top with the United States, Chile and Peru, and this time Brazil, the current world champions, dominating Group C, finishing first with Venezuela, Paraguay and Mexico all following. And now the quarterfinals are here. There is a real possibility that these two can meet in either the semis or the final. He might not be there in the press conference room, but don't get it twisted. It is Diego Maradona's time to shine with the national team. If only Messi was here, he could experience what it's like to win a trophy with Argentina. Here in 2028, forget about England, the Three Lions, it's come home for them. But in the Copa America, Argentina have reigned victorious now with a 3-1 victory over Ecuador in the final. It looks like my predictions came through as Argentina beat out Chile in the quarters 3-0. Brazil just made it past the United States 1-0, and that means they face each other in the semis, with Argentina winning in a 7-goal thriller. The international derby to end all international derbies. The Seleção, the world champions, knocked out in dramatic fashion. Ecuador won against Colombia on penalties. Brazil finished in 3rd, and Maradona's RB Celeste are your South American champions. It's the summer of 2028, and you know what that means. There are transfer offers flying in for the two icons, and we've received a chunky deal come our way for Diego Maradona, fresh off winning the Copa America, and PSG have just submitted a £208.4 million bid. I mean, this signing kind of makes sense. They're probably the only club in the world, alongside maybe Man City, that could afford both these stars on the wage bill. I'm going to accept that. The two stars could end off their career on a serious high in the French capital. Let's check in on Diego's numbers for the Copa America though. The 91 overall cam was able to achieve 3 appearances, no goals, no assists, and an average match rating of 65. So nothing too extraordinary or to write home about, but he's still got that medal at the end of the day. And checking over at Brazil, we have Pele with 3 assists and 1 goal in 6 appearances. It all came crashing down in the semi. It's going to be one last dance, the final crescendo for the pairing. They followed each other throughout their whole entire careers, and Diego has garnered interest from the richest club in the world in existence. All the oil money has funded this move, and the media are already starting to doubt Leicester. Can they cope without Maradona? Well, guess what? Shock horror, they're going to have to lose Pele as well. If you thought the Maradona price tag was a bit exuberant, get a load of this. Pele has made his switch to PSG as promised, and the Brazilian has gone for £346 million. The game's gone, the market is just way too inflated, and PSG have probably broken every single financial fair play rule there is. Nonetheless, we've got to uphold to the video concept as we take a look at the sporting cast for both Pele and Maradona. We're going to make sure that there is a Pele and Mbappe strike partnership here in the capital. I think this might be a Neymar regen, I'm not too sure, but Jorgens de Menezes is one of the best Brazilian wingers I have ever seen. Maradona will be playing in a slightly more advanced midfield role as his CDM partner looks like it's going to be Leymar. On second thought, this is not the strongest PSG team. Like, I thought we'd be walking in on like 90 plus rated players in the team, and now you can start to see why they went after Maradona in the first place. At this stage of the game, PSG are usually so overpowered. I know they've got Ian Wright, they've dipped into the icon market. However, I just feel like this is a step down from Leicester in terms of the team's quality. I know there's 4 members in attack, the Portuguese regen, Maradona, Mbappe, Pele. That is all fine and dandy, but the rest of the team don't really live up to their level. And now they've got a competition with a current day baller, Kylian Mbappe. I feel like so many of my videos as of late have featured PSG or just in the French league in general, changing the kit numbers, getting their number 10 and 9 ready in terms of their development plans. What do we improve from here on out? I feel like rotating between advanced playmaker and dynamo is definitely going to help out Maradona. Pele already starting to boast some 99 stats, so I think think complete striker is the move? Maybe not. Maybe we just stick to target man and get his strength up. There won't be any fears of not getting game time in this starting 11. They should waltz their way into the team. The top 4 Ballon d'Or nominees have just dropped for 2028. I can't really see it in that picture, but it seems like Pele, Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Calvert-Lewin are all up for the prize. It's a battle between Leicester and PSG players for the Golden Ball, and Pele has just gone back to back, baby. The Brazilian has secured his second Ballon d'Or trophy. Unfortunately, he's in bad form, but thanks to that season at Leicester, him winning the Champions League, it has propelled him to the top of world football, and at 27, he has just reached his prime. He has still got years left in the tank. Like I said, Maradona, I thought we were going to see a Ronaldo versus Messi type rivalry in the Ballon d'Or race, but he is yet to really put up a decent shout. That Copa America win doing him no favors, and he still hasn't been granted the best player of the year. The icon duo, they're going global. They have won another piece of silverware, and this time it's from the French contingency, finishing on top of Ligue 1 Uber Eats with 98 points. PSG have usually got that wrapped up, but how did they do in the other competitions? In the Trophée des Champions, they lost out to Lille on penalties 5-4. The Coupe Nationale saw them get their revenge on Lyon with a 5-4 win on penalties. Literally a carbon copy, just this time PSG won. And over in the Champions League, it was an all-English affair with Manchester United defeating Liverpool 2-1. I don't think it was a very deep European Cup run, as Liverpool, the future finalists, defeated PSG 2-1 on aggregate. At least they got their French career started off on the right foot with a double. Here is how Pele is shaping up with a +1 to his overall, now at a 94. Are they starting to level out here? Are they starting to plateau? Is their career hitting the peak? I guess these will be our answers now. With 13 goals and 6 assists, 19 goal contributions from a Ballon d'Or winner, Pele, you got to up your game, son, because Kylian Mbappe is completely blowing you out the water. Mbappe with just some mind-boggling numbers right there. We'll take a look at Maradona. He got to put himself a +1 this season as well. So they've both received minimal upgrades after season 9. Maradona still rocking the short shorts, as he ended up having a better season than Pele. 20 goals, the third highest goal scorer, outscoring the Brazilian, and also getting more assists than him. Double figures in both departments. For the first time in recent memory, I think that's Maradona having a better campaign than Pele. Write that one down, take note, because the Argentine, I think in the last 12 months or so, has gotten a one-up on Pele, not only winning the Copa America, but having a better season, or better start to his debut season here at PSG, and now valued at £141.5 million, and Pele has leveled out at 176 mil, up top with Mbappe. Season 10 is on the horizon, a full decade. Will they be the first duo able to win a Champions League at different clubs? Who is going to take home the Ballon d'Or? Is Diego finally going to bring a golden ball home? So many more questions to answer as we delve into the first full decade simulated. Thanks to some poor admin work and some mismanagement with player contracts, I've had to go out and reinforce the squad. We brought back some old pals like Sandro Tonali at Leicester, a couple of regens and youth academy players here and there, but most notably, we've gone after Messi's regen, Geronimo Aguirre, the right winger striker slash centre forward. He's been at Liverpool and we had to pay a whopping £204.8 million for his services. I just wanted to tee things up for a grandstand finish, a season finale. We're headed into a World Cup year in 2030, and not only do we have Neymar's regen linking up with Pele, we've got Messi's regen linking up with Diego Maradona. And don't forget Mbappe, the final puzzle piece in that front four. What a storyline and what an adventure we get gifted to follow. The past, present and future all combining in this PSG squad for one last hurrah. Here are your Ballon d'Or nominees in 2029. It looks like we've got some new contenders. The Leicester City boys have dropped out, as it's Joao Felix and Erling Braut Haaland to step up to the plate. But meanwhile, it's still Mbappe and Pele with one of his worst seasons yet. How has he still managed to break into the top 4? If you had an Mbappe-esque season, I think the 3-peat could have been on the cards, but I think Kylian might be taking this year's golden ball. Prove me wrong, FIFA. I've got my fingers crossed, and it looks like it's going Mbappe's way, just like I predicted. With a season like that, there is no other contender for the golden ball. At 30 years of age, Mbappe is crowned the best player of the year. It's almost becoming the Mbappe and Neymar regen show at the moment, because they're completely outperforming both Pele and Maradona. We've reached June 2030, season 10. At the end of it, it's all come to a close, and hopefully those two have done enough to be called up to the international squad as PSG finish out on top of Ligue 1. Predictable stuff there in the Trophée des Champions. They won 2-1 against Monaco, so a French double, and they couldn't complete the French treble. In the Coupe Nationale, they got knocked out in the round of 32, 3-1 to Lyon. Terrible scenes here as they weren't able to pull off another Champions League success, losing out to Barcelona on away goals 1-0 in the round of 16. They've only been able to become European champions at Leicester. Quite crazy scenes here as they came up against their former employers in Group A. Here are how the World Cup groups are looking. Where is Brazil? Where is Argentina? We've got the Seleção here drawn in with Switzerland, Austria and New Zealand. Again, there should be no excuses for them to finish out on top, as here in Group H it is Argentina, Italy, Romania Romania and the Ivory Coast. A very tricky group for Maradona. That could be another no qualifier. Easy banana peels in there, and Italy is also such a strong heavyweight at this stage of the game. Just to confirm that they have been caught up, they're on the plane in Argentina's squad. You can see the midfielders. First on the list is Diego Maradona. As we change over to Brazil, we've got Rodrigo, Richarlison, Paulo Otavio. What kind of name is that? Jorge de Mendes. I think that's Neymar's regen, alongside Pele, will be representing Brazil. It's a carbon copy of their season 9 performances, 2 domestic French titles, and a +1 to both their overalls. Maradona hitting a 93, just equaling Mbappe's previous peak, the Ballon d'Or winner, going up to a 96. And here are how their performances stack up against the rest of the squad. Like I said, Mbappe and Neymar's regen are just stealing all the spotlight from them. Pele laced up his goal-scoring boots again with 20 goals and 8 assists, 28 goal contributions in 52 matches, as there was 53 appearances this time for Maradona. He found the back of the net 9 times and was the leader in terms of assists with 14. Here are how both their market values stack up, and because Pele is technically younger than Mbappe at the start of this simulation, he is valued at £199 million, so ever so close to that 200 mil mark, as the Argentine stock has risen 15%, reaching £163.5 million market value. Here we go, we've reached the end of the line. One more competition and tournament to keep track of, the 2030 World Cup. Pele wants to go back to back, Maradona wants to win it again like in 86. Who is going to get the last laugh as Pele and Maradona play out a 10+ year simulation on the same team? Now would you take a look at that? Just like 1986, Diego Maradona is basking in all his glory. Next to that iconic trophy, it is the World Cup sat on the Argentinian press conference. Crowned world champions, and they did it up against a tough task. The Three Lions, they defeated them 2-1, and Maradona has come back to haunt them yet again, living in their head rent-free, and deservedly so. They beat out the likes of Austria in the semi-finals 2-0. We'll go back to the group stages and see how they qualified out of the group. We've got Brazil on top with 7 points. Meanwhile, at the bottom with Argentina, they came out in second with 6 points. Not entirely convincing, but they defeated the Netherlands 2-1 in order to make it through to the quarterfinals. Brazil dealt with Germany 2-1. In the quarters, this is where things start to get a little heated, with England knocking out Pelé's Brazil 3-1. Argentina went through against the Czech Republic on penalties, booking their spot in the semi-finals, where they took down Austria 2-0, and England just edged past France 1-0. Unfortunately, with 7 appearances, no goals and no assists for Maradona in this World Cup. He was just there as a locker room hero, dropping an average 6.6 match rating. He wasn't there to be a main MVP nor the top goal scorer, as Pedro de la Vega and Messi's regen actually claimed that accolade with 3 goals each. In terms of Pele's tournament, he did more than the actual world champion. Brazil couldn't go back to back, but Pele managed to score a goal and get an assist. I'm not quite sure if that's going to alter the Ballon d'Or race and give to Maradona his first nomination throughout this video. However, you're looking at your world champions now. What a midfield. Riquelme, Almada, Maradona, Messi's regen, Lautaro leading the line up top. For the first time in 44 years, Argentina have won a world title. So I've got an offer here from Inter, £163.7 million for the Argentine. I think I'm going to go ahead and accept this, just because I might do a bonus season. I want to see the Ballon d'Or nominees for 2030. How much of that World Cup win is going to impact Diego's chances at winning the Golden Ball? Signing a Napoli legend and a World Cup champion for a casual £307.5 million. The boys are back better than ever in Italy for another Italian job, just for the time being. At 28, they've still got a whole lot to prove, and trust me, their goal scoring output and production isn't going to slow down anytime soon. This is the team we're looking at. We've got both Lautaro Martinez and Pele, a deadly strike combo there, almost as cynical and clinical as Mbappe and Pele. We're going to have to slot Maradona in central mid for now. We've got the likes of Thomas Lamar, a back four of Branthwaite, Tapsoba, and one Foyth, which is just all over the place. Hakimi is still at the San Siro. We've got the likes of James Maddison, Chukwueze on the bench, JJ Okocha, he's so good they named him twice. A pretty, flamboyant supporting cast. How could we forget Zola? They're joining an icon, Zola, on the reserves. Now let's check in on the final Ballon d'Or ceremony. Here's the moment of truth, what we've all been waiting for, and there are your nominees. It's Pele again, despite moving clubs, and of course Diego's World Cup win. He still can't get anywhere near the top 4. To tie this video up nicely in a nice neat little bow, it would have been nice to see either Maradona or Pele win the Ballon d'Or, but unfortunately the Brazilian was actually nominated in the running and lost out to his former teammate Mbappe. They've ended up at an Inter side in the Europa League. The Italian outfit has greeted them back with open arms. And here is your final look at the two icons after they played an entire career, 10 seasons on the same team. They followed each other around the continent, and here they are. Pele now standing at a 95, approaching 30. They're on the cusp at 29 years of age, 95 overall, one of the world's best. No doubt that Diego's one of the world's best as well, a +1 to his overall this season, so he's still growing. He has been in Pele's shadow throughout this whole video just because of the overall situation, but performances wise, it's been quite neck and neck. 19 goal contributions for Maradona and then Pele with 15. They've both been striving for greatness and thriving in the meantime, solidifying their GOAT status, especially Pele with 2 Ballon d'Ors. Maradona, unfortunately, in terms of the individual cabinet, he wasn't there, but they both won numerous trophies, league titles, domestic cups, and especially 1 World Cup each for their nation, whilst Diego got the better of him continentally, winning the Copa America for Argentina, and they end off with a valuation of £194.5 million and £159.5 million respectively. There you go, this video was definitely a marathon and not a sprint. Both Pele and Maradona on the same team throughout their entire career. That's exactly what's gone down. If you thought this video was fun and it was interesting seeing 2 previous titans of former generations go head to head in today's modern era, make sure to drop it a like down below and let me know what icon should we bring into current day and have them play on the same team. As always, I've been Sir BCHD. Have a great day. Chuck the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you all in the very next video.